Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. Welcome to the Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. Today is Flashback Friday, a feature in which I republish one of my earlier videos you might not have seen that contains really important coping strategies that will help you attain a better mood. Now here's today's video. Today's subject is the difference between depression and sadness. Now, when mental health professionals try to diagnose depression, they can't use a blood test. So what they have is a symptom picture. And they have a list of 9 symptoms that characterize major depression, and the first 2 are sad mood most of the day and inability to experience pleasure. Now, from hearing these symptoms, you might think that sadness and depression are one and the same. Maybe depression is just extreme sadness. And while sadness is a component of depression, there are many dysfunctions and imbalances that depression has that sadness does not. And I want to share some of these differences with you right now. I actually have a chart in my book, Healing from Depression, that explains it quite well, and I'm going to refer to it as I speak with you today. So, one of the things about sadness is you feel sad, but you don't feel a loss of self-esteem. But with depression, you also feel really low self-esteem. Mike Wallace, the famous newscaster who suffered from depression, said, "I felt lower than a snake's belly." That type of negative self-worth doesn't appear with regular sadness. Another difference is that when you're sad, your negative feelings are appropriate to the upsetting event. So, your favorite team loses the World Series, or your child, fails a course. Of course you're going to be sad. But with depression, people often seem to have things going for them in the outside world. They have a good job, family, support, and yet they still feel miserable. So, the feelings of sadness and depression are not appropriate given the outside events that are occurring. Another difference is that with sadness, the sadness goes away over time. So your team lost the World Series, in a couple of weeks you get over it. Your child had a bad grade, well, he'll do better next term. But with depression, the sadness, the misery lasts weeks, months, even years. It just persists and persists and persists. It's chronic, even though circumstances may change. Another difference is when you feel sad, you don't necessarily feel discouraged about the future. You feel down in the present. But with depression, major depression, there's a sense of hopelessness. Things will never get better. I'll always feel this way. Things will never change. All these absolute statements that you don't really feel when you're sad. A fifth difference is that when you're sad, you can still kind of be productive to a certain extent. You may not feel great, but you can still go to work or interact with your friends, tell them how sad you're feeling. While with depression, oftentimes you completely withdraw. Your body, mind, and spirit shut down, and you're not able to function in any way, shape, or form. And finally, with sadness, your negative thoughts are realistic. We talked about this before. They're appropriate to the events of your life. But with depression, you have all sorts of unrealistic thoughts that have, and the major one is, I will never get better. I will always feel this way. I am doomed. And of course, these can lead to suicidal thinking, which sadness alone never leads to. But major depression does lead to suicidal feeling and suicidal attempts. So these are some of the differences between depression and sadness. And oftentimes the two are distinct things, but oftentimes there can be an overlap, especially when the sadness comes as part of grieving a major loss, like the death of a loved one. In that case, you can lose your appetite, have major sleep disruptions, withdraw, and other characteristics that are very similar to major depression. In fact, when a loss is not grieved properly and a person is stuck in that loss, then it can turn into depression. And this will be the subject of our next video. This has been Douglas Bloch. I hope you found the information on this Flashback Friday video helpful. If so, please give it a like, as likes draw more and more people to this channel and hopefully some more subscribers. You can also leave your comments in the comments section or email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you do want to subscribe to this channel, click on my photo in the closing credits. You'll be taken to my subscribe page. And if you click on the bell to the right, you'll be notified every time I do a new video or live chat. And if you want to contribute to this channel and become a patron, simply click on the Patreon image. You'll be taken to my crowdfunding site. And until next video, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much.